There's a moment everyone waits for. That perfect moment, when the timing feels right, when the fear fades, when the stars align and the world finally says, now. But here's the truth no one tells you. That moment, it's never coming. You've been sitting on the edge of your dream, waiting for a green light that doesn't exist. You tell yourself you'll start when you feel ready, when the pain is smaller, when the doubt quiets down, when the path looks clear. But then days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into years, and suddenly you realize you've been waiting more than you've been living. Readiness is a lie. It's the soft whisper that keeps you still. It tells you that movement without certainty is failure. But here's the secret. Every person you admire, every name you remember, they all began before they were ready. They moved with shaking hands. They spoke while their voices trembled. They started building before they even knew what they were building. Because life doesn't reward the ones who wait. It rewards the ones who move. You think success starts with confidence? No. Confidence starts with movement. The courage you're searching for. It's not waiting at the starting line. It's built on the road, step by step, fall by fall, failure by failure. You keep saying, one day I'll start. But what if one day never comes? Waiting kills dreams quietly, not all at once, but slowly, like rust eating metal. Every time you say, not yet, you teach your brain to settle. Every time you hesitate, you build a habit of hesitation. And soon, you forget what movement even feels like. You stop believing in small steps because you keep fantasizing about the perfect leap. But no one jumps from zero to hero. You crawl first. You stumble, you bleed, you fall, and then one day you realize you're running. But it doesn't happen because you waited. It happens because you moved while it was still messy, still confusing, still uncertain. There's a kind of pain that doesn't scream. It doesn't break you in one blow. It's the pain of staying still when your soul wants to move. You feel it when you wake up. That quiet ache in your chest. That whisper that says, you're meant for more. You silence it with distractions. Scroll, sleep. Convince yourself that tomorrow will be better. But deep down, you know the truth. Tomorrow will look exactly like today, unless you move. So here's the question you've been avoiding. If you stripped away every excuse, every what if, every reason to stay still, what would your first step look like? Because somewhere right now, someone just like you stopped waiting. They didn't have more talent. They didn't have more time. They just decided that now was enough. And while you're thinking about moving, they're already halfway there. But there's something no one tells you about taking that first step. Something no one prepares you for. It doesn't just change your path. It changes you. And once you take it, you can never go back to who you were before. You finally move. You take that first step you've been avoiding for years. And for a moment, it feels powerful, liberating, like you finally cracked the code. But then it hits you. Fear, louder than before, heavier than before. The moment you start moving, your mind begins screaming. What if I fail? What if everyone laughs? What if this isn't enough? And that's when most people stop. Not because they're weak, but because no one told them. The fear doesn't disappear when you move. It follows you. Fear is not the enemy. It's the echo of every dream worth chasing. It whispers when you take the first step, but it roars when you take the second. Because movement threatens comfort, and comfort fights back. Every new path will have a shadow. The part of you that still wants to stay safe. The part that remembers the pain of your past. The part that's terrified of being seen trying. But here's the twist. That shadow, it only exists because you're in the light now. If fear is chasing you, it means you're finally moving towards something worth fearing. You think fear means stop, but fear means go. It's the compass that points toward growth. If it doesn't scare you, it won't change you. If it doesn't shake you, it won't shape you. Fear isn't there to block you. It's there to test you, to see if what you said you wanted was real. And most people fail that test, not because they can't win, but because they mistake fear for failure. They feel afraid and say, this isn't for me. They feel uncertain and say, maybe later, but fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signal. It's life asking, how bad do you want this? At some point, you'll have to stop running from fear and start talking to it. You'll look it in the eyes and say, I see you. I know you're here, but you don't control me anymore. Because fear is loudest right before your breakthrough. That's when it throws its last punch. That's when it tells you to turn around. But if you keep moving, if you keep walking through the noise, you'll realize something powerful. Fear was never trying to stop you. It was trying to prepare you. It was making sure you were awake, aware, ready, because the person who walks through fear is not the same as the person who hides from it. There will be nights when you question everything, when your progress feels invisible, when it seems like you're walking through fog, and no one sees your effort. That's the breaking point, the moment that separates dreamers from doers. Most people give up there because they think movement should always feel good. But real growth feels like chaos. It feels like walking blindfolded into a storm and trusting there's light on the other side. But listen, every storm ends, every fog clears, and the ones who keep walking through it come out unrecognizable. They come out stronger, sharper, certain, because movement, even when it's messy, is still progress. You've faced the fear. You've kept moving through the noise. But then something happens, something no one warns you about. The world starts to notice, and when it does, it doesn't always clap. Some people will question you, some will doubt you, some will try to pull you back to where you started, because your movement exposes their stillness. And that's when you realize the hardest battle isn't against fear, it's against people, because not everyone wants to see you move. The moment you start changing, the world starts reacting. Not everyone will celebrate your movement. Not everyone will clap when you grow, because your progress is a mirror, and some people hate what it reflects. You'll feel it, the shift, the tension, the quiet distance from the people who once said they cared. They'll call you different. They'll say you've changed, and they're right. You have, but what they don't understand is you had to, because staying the same was slowly killing you. When you move, you disrupt the balance of comfort. The people who knew you as the old you start to panic because your growth makes them question their stillness. Your courage exposes their excuses. And instead of walking beside you, some will try to hold you back. They'll say, you've forgotten where you came from. They'll mock your discipline, your focus, your hunger. They'll label it arrogance. But what they're really saying is, I'm scared to move too. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. You'll start shrinking to make them comfortable. You'll start dimming your fire, just so no one feels the heat. But here's the truth. You can't save people by standing still. Every movement has a price. You will lose things on the way. People, comfort, approval. And that's okay, because movement demands space. You can't carry everyone and everything with you. Some people are part of your history, not your destiny. And that's the hardest part. Realizing that not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people were only meant to teach you lessons, not walk beside you forever. The ones who truly love you won't hold you back when you rise. They'll grow with you. They'll adapt with you. They'll cheer even when they don't understand the path. But the ones who don't, let them go. Because if you have to kill your purpose to keep their approval, you're not living anymore. You're performing. There will come a moment when it feels like you're walking alone. No applause, no validation, just you and your vision. And that's where most people break. They crave noise. They crave company. But silence is where warriors are made. In that silence, you'll hear your real voice for the first time. The one that doesn't need permission. The one that knows who you are and where you're going. You'll stop needing people to understand your path, because you'll understand yourself. That's the power of movement. It strips you bare, then rebuilds you stronger. You'll lose fake friends, but gain real purpose. You'll lose approval, but gain peace. And one day, those who doubted you will whisper your name like a legend they once knew. Even then, There will be nights when you question everything again. You'll wonder if it's worth it. You'll look back at the life you left and think, maybe I should have stayed. But then you'll remember, you didn't move to be better than anyone. You moved because you couldn't stay the same. You moved because there was something burning inside you that silence couldn't extinguish. You moved because your dream demanded it. And when you stand there, tired, alone, unsure, you'll realize that everything you lost was preparing you for what's next. Because sometimes you have to lose the world to find yourself. You face fear, you face people, you face loss. But there's one final test. The hardest one of all. It's not fear. It's not failure. It's not even loneliness. It's the moment when everything goes quiet and nothing seems to be working. You're moving, you're pushing, you're fighting, but there's no result, no progress, no breakthrough, just silence. And that's when most people quit, right before the moment everything changes. Because what comes next isn't just movement anymore. It's transformation. There's a moment every mover faces. It's quiet, still, empty. You've been giving everything. Your time, your energy, your belief, and yet nothing seems to happen. No reward, no result, no light. It feels like shouting into a void, like running in place, like fighting an invisible wall that never breaks. And this is where most people stop. Not because they're weak, but because they mistake silence for failure. But what they don't know is silence is not the end. It's the build-up before the breakthrough. The tree doesn't grow the day you plant it. It grows in secret, underground, roots digging deep where no one can see. And that's what your journey feels like right now. Invisible, unnoticed, uncelebrated. But just because you can't see the growth doesn't mean it's not happening. Every time you show up when it's hard, you grow roots. Every time you keep moving through doubt, you grow stronger. You think nothing is changing, but everything is. You're becoming someone the old you could never recognize. Someone who can handle pressure. Someone who keeps moving, even when no one's watching. Most people want progress to be loud. They want instant results, immediate applause. But real growth doesn't happen in noise. It happens in repetition, in the boring, quiet, unseen effort that no one claps for. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent, it's endurance. The ones who make it don't stop when it's hard. They don't stop when it's slow. They don't stop when it hurts. They keep showing up because they know movement is victory. You don't need to be the fastest. You don't need to be the loudest. You just need to keep going. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a step away from the person you used to be. And then one day, without warning, something shifts. The same wall that used to block you suddenly cracks. The same weight that used to crush you starts to feel light. The world that once ignored you starts to notice. But by then, you don't need their approval anymore because you've already proven something to the only person who mattered, yourself. You realize it was never about the reward, never about being seen. It was about becoming unrecognizable to the person who once waited. That's the breakthrough, not a finish line, but a rebirth. The moment you understand that, you were never waiting on the world. The world was waiting on you. So stop waiting. Stop searching for the right time. Stop looking for permission. The clock's been ticking since the day you were born. You don't get to pause it. You only get to choose. Move or stay still. You don't need perfect clarity to start. You need courage. You don't need all the answers. You just need momentum. Because life rewards those who move, not those who wait. You don't become great by waiting to feel ready. You become great by moving through the moments you're not. Start walking. Start building. Start failing. Start again. Because movement is how dreams take shape. Movement is how you create meaning. Movement is how you rise. The world doesn't need another person waiting for their chance. It needs another person brave enough to take it. So wherever you are right now, take the step, send the message, start the project, say the words, Do the thing. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for a sign. This is your sign. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to move. Because the truth is simple. The people who change their lives aren't the ones who waited. They're the ones who moved. So stop waiting. Start moving. Your time isn't coming. It's here.